Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Black Health with none other than D.Moss himself and myself, Justin Yarde, bringing you the latest in Black Health. That's what matters, all right? And today, we always have a great group of guests, but these ladies have been trailblazing the area of women's health for the last, it seems like years, but they've only been doing this for like, I don't know, maybe a year, which they'll get into. And they've been changing the outcomes of women and. Come on. All right. So I want you guys to really keep an ear out for all this information that's going to be given to you today. These women are what we will call doulas in our community, and they have been doing a great job at what they do. I'm going to let them explain. And I'm going to introduce Laconia and Tanita, two parts to Springfield Family Doulas. How you guys doing this evening?
Good.
Good.
Happy to be here tonight.
Good. I'm happy. We're happy you're here. We're happy you're here. We've had you here before, and you guys killed it. And people asked for this again, and we want to deliver what people asked for. So, how did you guys start? All right, and introduce yourselves and tell us how you guys started and what you guys do.
Well, my name is Tanita, and I am part of Springfield Family Doulas, which is our business. And we started because we actually were pregnant at the same time. And we both were doing doula training at the same time. And we were both looking for a doula at the same time. So we decided to, I was actually on a Facebook group looking for a doula to help me out with my journey. And at that point in time, I found out Laconia was actually looking for the same thing. We are cousins. So we decided just to meet up. And when we met up, we just had the same common goal. And we decided to just, first of all, we decided to be each other's doula. That we wasn't even, we threw the idea out there to come together as a business, but it didn't really come to fruition at that time because, you know, we're both pregnant, we're about to have a baby. So our whole goal was just to finish training as doulas and to be each other's doulas. And as time went on, obviously she's behind me, so she wasn't able to be my doula, but I was able to be her doula. And with the mutual connection with us being each other's doula, because she was there for my support, definitely, we decided that this is something that the community needed and what we were giving to each other.
Yeah, so I am Laconia. I am a holistic doula. I've been a doula for 3 years now. And like Tanita said, we are cousins, our grandmothers are sisters, and we just really got together and really started to form Springfield Family Doulas. And the reason why we wanted to do that is because we really wanted to empower women, specifically women of color, but we help all women out, but just empowering them during this time in need through pregnancy, birth, and postpartum care, just really educating them, informing them, and supporting them through that whole entire process. So yeah, that's us in a little bundle.
Can we take it back a little bit and just, can you guys put for folks who may watch this for the first time and may not be familiar with Springfield Family Doulas, what exactly is a doula? When you talk about she was there to support and all that stuff, what exactly does that mean?
So a doula is a person, a professional non-medical person. So we don't do like blood pressures and see how far dilated you are during your pregnancy or anything like that. We're there to support you through your pregnancy. We're there to educate you through your pregnancy and make sure that you have informed decisions. So that comes along with education. Anything around birth and whether it can be your birth and plan, whether you have questions on baby care tips after birth, whether you want to know which route to go, if you want natural route or if you want a medicated route, we can help you with that, informing you, educating you on that. Also, breastfeeding has been a big thing as well. Just really educated mom, preparing mom for breastfeeding and supporting her during that time as well. So all things birth. Not on a non-medical side.
So you guys basically do everything except for the actual delivery itself, and then the medical aspects. Other than that, you're there strictly for support, help people navigate through the process, coach them through the process, all that.
Absolutely.
And in our situation, Tanita, she delivered too. So hey.
Well, we're not supposed to. We don't do that. We that's not in our spectrum right there. We don't do any.
But if there's an emergency situation and you happen to be out somewhere and there are no doctors available and it's a last minute thing, it's emergency, you're at a restaurant eating and somebody's water breaks and their contractions were closer than they thought. We
can be there to support them through it and maybe support the partner through it and the birthing person, but that's not in our spectrum, because if anything goes wrong, we're the ones that are going to be sued. It's not one of those things where, if you're a nurse and you're off duty and you have that, what is the saying called?
Oath.
Yeah. Like if somebody got in a car accident, you can help and you're not going to be charged anything. That doesn't go for doulas. So we try to really stay practicing the spectrum that we were certified in. But we will be there to support. But
we will support you in getting a doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
On the ambulance or something, we will support you all the way.
Yes, absolutely. Make sure mom's comfortable and support throughout that whole time until the medical professionals get there for sure.
And I just want to make sure people are clear this difference, because it's like if you don't know what a doula is, it's kind of like, well, can they give birth? It's like, no, I think that's a midwife that can actually give birth, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Midwife, OB.
Right. One of the most important things also is we're advocacy. We advocate for moms. There's a lot of times that moms are in the hospital, they really can't speak up, or there's incidents or situations where they don't understand, where medical officials can talk to them a certain way. They can be talking over their head sometimes. They can feel like they're being judged. They can feel like so many different aspects that can happen right now in the hospital settings. So we want to make sure that we're moms or birthing person's advocacy also. So we advocate for moms as well.
And my next question, now, Laconia, you stated, what type of doula are you?
Holistic doula.
Okay, Tanita, are you the same, or are there different?
I am not. I'm a full spectrum doula, so I deal with the whole concept of I deal with abortion, adoption, infertility, contraceptions, postpartum, prenatal, delivery. If an unfortunate death happened, bereavement, doula. So I'm a full spectrum doula. I deal with the whole aspect of it.
You're muted.
I knew that. So now you said you're holistic. What exactly, like, what is it that you do?
So I really focus on mom, mind, body, and spiritually through the whole process. So I do pretty much prenatal care, birth, delivery, labor, and postpartum care as well. But I really try to, because all of that, every stage of labor is different, and mom kind of handles it differently. So it's almost like a roller coaster sometimes for moms. And I kind of try to help her become balanced in that, because baby feels everything. So I just try to make sure mom is balanced through different healing modalities throughout the pregnancy.
Like what? Like what's an example of a healing modality you might offer a mom?
Like either Reiki, meditation, something like that can really help balance mom's energy and things like that, or nerves. Maybe she's nervous or anxious or feeling some tension anywhere. I use Reiki, or we do a meditation, we do a breathing exercise, that kind of thing, to really balance mom out.
Okay, so Let me ask you, the work that you do, is this something new? Is this a new concept? Is this something that has been around for, decades? Talk to me a little bit about the history of, the services that doulas provide.
It's pretty much been here forever. It's been here forever. I could kind of talk about like maybe the early 1900s or so. The first midwife that came here, 1865 or something like that, has been documented. And it was a Black woman, of course, from Africa. And they had this kind of, I kind of learned this fairly recently, but they had like this secret midwife society. They didn't call it midwives back then. That name didn't come along till I think about the 1950s or 60s, around that time. But there was a secret society. So like when women came from Africa, they either were already midwives or learned how to be midwives, but it was a secret thing in order to take care of pregnant women and help them deliver during the times in the early 1900s. All the way up to the 1950s, it was legal. And then all of a sudden it became illegal, especially down south. Like there was about 5,000 midwives down south, African-American midwives. All of a sudden, OBs came in and said it was illegal. And now you could find maybe 5 midwives. And it's still illegal in a lot of the southern states to be a midwife, a home birth midwife.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Tina or Konya. So you using medical terms and jargon. So you got to define it for us laymen. You said midwives, and then you said OB, right? And I think I know what that means. But can you define because there's 3 different ones. That's doula, midwife, and
an obstetrician is a nurse. Is a doctor who studies women's health and pregnancy.
That's OB.
Yes.
Okay. Then a midwife. What's the?
A midwife does the same thing, very similar, but a midwife is a nurse first, and then she trains to become a midwifery. So she does a lot of the same things that obstetricians do, but obstetricians do more of, they do what midwives do, plus anything that's like difficult, or if a mom has certain kind of issues during pregnancy, then the obstetrician steps in. So anything that is high risk, you're going to have an OB for. So midwives are more of low risk moms.
Okay. Now, and even with midwives, if I'm not mistaken, there's 2 different types of midwives. There's like, what is that? A certified nurse midwife, and then there's a certified midwife.
Yes, there's a certified nurse midwife, and they typically work in the hospitals and birthing centers. And then there's a certified practical midwife, and they can only work at home. So those are your home birth midwives.
Right. The certified midwives are the ones who don't really necessarily have a nursing background, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yep. So you have to be a nurse and then go to midwifery school to be at CNM. I always forget the initials, but yes, you have to. Yep.
Okay.
Anita, you might know the initials better.
What?
CPM.
Certified practicing midwife?
Yes. And then certified nurse midwife, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so there's 3 different types: certified practicing midwife, certified nursing midwife, and then just a certified midwife, correct? Or no?
Just the 2, I believe.
Just the 2.
Yep.
Okay.
Certified practicing midwife and certified nurse midwife.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you can go, D.
No, go for it. I just wanted some clarity, just to provide some clarity. And I know that they're doulas, but just I wanted people to understand the difference between a doula and a midwife, and then just the different types of doulas and the different types of midwives. So now I guess we focus strictly on the work and services provided by a doula.
So D mentioned the history of kind of birth workers, right? People that are working in areas of birth and helping women give birth. So what are some of the things you've seen that kind of made you become a doula? Because I know you guys did mention before about kind of disparities when it comes to women of color. Let's just say what it is, because me and D are Black women. I mean, it says Black health, y'all, so don't feel like y'all got to be politically correct. D, tell me if they got to be politically.
We're so trained to be politically correct.
Well, this is
that's unkept
this. I mean, I think anybody who follows my page or anything that we do, they understand that this is a safe space for Black people to talk about things pertaining to Black people. It doesn't mean that we're anti anybody. It simply means that Black health has to become as critically important as Black economics, Black social programs, and everything else. We need to discuss Black health. And when you look at the data on Black birthing mothers and, new Black newborns, you people, will begin to understand why we have to put an emphasis on Black mothering and the services and support that in place. There's nothing more important than that right now.
Right.
So yeah, Black, and Black.
Mm-hmm. So for me, myself, I mean, to answer your question, for me, myself, to get into this birth work, I mean, it really didn't, it jumped out at me after having my first son. Actually, I got a degree in criminal justice. So my mind was completely away from this altogether, no birth work, no nothing. But having my first son and experiencing what I experienced, and necessarily it didn't start off tragic. It wasn't really tragic neither because I had a healthy child. See, but the outcome is not just to have a healthy child; it's to have a healthy experience, a great experience. So when I first went into the birthing, when I first went into the hospital, I was informed that I could stay there or I can go home. They didn't inform me that if I stayed there, they were going to start the process of inducing everything because I'm on their time. Now time is money. Money, my insurance, money they want to build. So they got to try to get me in and out there as quickly as possible. Those things I didn't know that at the time. But I'm there because obviously this is the safest place that I'm thinking for me to be because I'm about to have a baby. Not only including that my water broke, which you don't have to go to the hospital as soon as your water broke, but at that time also I didn't know that. So my water broke. I'm there. They decided to induce me with Pitocin. Didn't want that. Well, I didn't know no better then, but I didn't want to be induced or nothing, but they obviously had to start the process. So they gave me that. It just makes it 100 times worse than what you actually go through. And I'm not even exaggerating. It really does. So the whole time it was just me and my partner there. My mom wasn't there. She doesn't like to see her baby in pain, quote unquote. So therefore she wasn't there. It was just me and my partner. We were there throughout the whole time. So there was no female there to actually tell me, what was normal, what wasn't normal, what should I expect, what shouldn't I expect, what's going to happen next, how far I should be, everything that I'm knowing or can imagining is stuff that you've seen on the TV. So water broke. The baby's supposed to be here. Like, why am I still going through this pain? Why did they have to give me medicine? Why do you want to try to give me these kind of pain medications? And what else is there besides an epidural? And do I even have to take an epidural? How does the epidural go? Like, there were so many questions I had going through my mind, but nobody there to answer them. That's one. I didn't want an epidural. I knew that for a fact that I did not want to do an epidural, which is the medicine that you use to numb your whole body so that you can not feel no pain. Not necessarily that I did not want to feel pain. It's just I wanted to have more control of my body than having no control at all. So I decided to go with another pain medication at the time, and I forgot what it was, but it was a pill that's supposed to numb it just a little bit, but you still are supposed to be able to have some control of your body. So I took that pill, but I was on Pitocin, so the Pitocin kind of interacts with that medicine, so you still can feel the contractions because with the Pitocin, your body is your body is having contractions unnaturally. So your mind is not able to focus on what's going on with the contractions. So it's like counteracting each other. And then that medicine that they give you at the same time is counterreacting that. So I was all bombarded. So instead of me, trying to focus and trying to have my mind in the right path, the nurse comes in there and asks me, "How are you doing?" I said, "I don't know. I don't know if I can do this." She said, "Well, is it wearing off? Are you feeling some pain?" I said, "Yeah, I'm feeling it." She said, "Well, it's going to get a lot worse. So you might as well just go ahead and get the epidural." So obviously my whole strong-mindedness just went out the window. If a nurse is coming to tell me that I can't handle it, that it's going to be worse. So my whole game plan went out the window. I'm just going to get the epidural. So now with the epidural, it's a higher, greater chance with you having a C-section. I didn't know none of that neither at that time. Now I do. So now I get an epidural. You have to be perfectly still with your back arched over while you're going through contractions at the same time. So now I'm doing this and I'm thinking in my head, if I can go through contractions while staying perfectly still while somebody's sticking a needle in my back, I probably could have went on with this the whole time. But there was nobody strong enough in my ear to let me know that I was able to do those things. You know, like I said, it was just me and my partner. He didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to expect. So after that happens, I decide, okay, I'm laying down. I don't want this epidural because, you know, epidural wears off after a certain amount of time. So now the epidural was kind of wearing off and I'm deciding, you know, to walk around, and I decide to go to the bathroom. I get up, go to the bathroom, which is right beside my bed, literally right beside my bed. I get up, go to the bathroom, and you know, the thing that they put around your stomach to hear the heartbeat, the continuous heart monitor to hear the baby heart or whatever, that was on me. But when I went to the bathroom, all of that fell off. So when it all fell off, obviously, you know, you don't hear no baby's heartbeat. So I finally get back into bed. I get all the material back on me, and then they rush in and they said, "Hey, the baby's heart is not beating. The baby's heart is not beating. We gotta rush you in for a C-section." And I'm sitting here telling them, "Hey, I need to hey, it all fell off. Everything fell off of me. Hey, but nobody's listening to me. Nobody's acknowledging what I'm saying. It's just one ear and out the other. They're not acknowledging that I'm saying, hey, this is what's happening. This is what happened." And they just did whatever they wanted to do. And so now he's freaking out. My partner's freaking out because, you know, you're not hearing the heart beating, but we both are trying to tell them, hey, this thing fell off. This is why you didn't hear. So now I'm having a operation that's cutting my whole body open because you weren't listening to my words.
Oh.
So that is something. I mean, people lose their lives over C-sections. It's really a major surgery. So, but by you not listening to my words, this is what happened. And so by that happening to me, I just wanted to make sure I was that advocate for somebody else to make sure, hey, we're going to calm everything down. We're going to listen to what this birthing person has to say instead of just rushing to deal with whatever they want to do. So that's how I got into the field.
That's a good reason to get into the field. I was looking up some information on doulas, and they talked about the role of doulas. And it talks, I guess, it actually began, it gained popularity during the 1980s when women became distressed at the ever-increasing rate of cesarean sections. It talked about how, I guess there was an unusually high number, and people began to bring in birthing instructors or friends and folks to provide labor support, which is basically what you're speaking to, correct?
Yes.
Just kind of curious. Okay.
Yes, Dee, I'd like to speak on that a little bit, what you just said. So what happened was, when it was illegal to become a midwife, women had to go into the hospital and give birth, because that was the whole thing. They needed more numbers in the hospital because this whole other field, obstetrician, was just coming up, and all these doctors were trained, and they needed patients, if that's what you want to call it. And a lot of them were Black women that were giving birth. And so They decided to just make it illegal for women to practice midwifery at home birth midwives. Home births. So they ended up trying to go to the hospital, but the hospital also, it was expensive. We couldn't afford it, and poor white people back then couldn't afford it as well. But they're pushing these women to come in. And what they did say was, you should come to the hospital because it's illegal, and because these midwives are working and it's dirty. They're being dirty. They're not trained right. They're doing this. More babies are dying. When in the end, what happened was more babies were dying in the hospital than at home and in their homes, birthing in their homes. So that's a little bit more of the history of it. So women started to really advocate for and support and do this kind of birth work.
Right. I can, wow. I tell you, and not just to get the doctors more work, but, the pharmaceutical companies had a major say in that, because in the early 1920s, when they began to eliminate natural practices and natural medicine, you put more of really generating more of a respond. Like I said, lean more towards chemical medicines as opposed to natural sources and everything. So I guess that was impacting as well.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely insane. And when you look at, and I know a lot of people say keep it focused on the positive, but how do you keep it focused on the positive and not look at, the mortality rate of birthing Black mothers? Because it's kind of like, I listened to Tanita's story. I mean, how many stories have we heard with birthing Black mothers, trying to express the fact that they're in pain, there's something wrong, and nobody listens. People completely disregard them and do what they want to do with these Black bodies. So in the role of an advocate for birthing Black mothers and their families, can you talk about the advocacy role?
Oh, absolutely.
I know Tanita talked about why she got into it, but just if you can just break it down just a little bit more for people, I want them to thoroughly understand, the advocacy that's involved and why it's necessary.
Absolutely. Once you hire a doula, you get all this information that you didn't know you had and all these options that you didn't know you had. And Tanita and I, we advocate for our clients, but we make sure they're informed and educated and supported enough so that them and their partners, the mom that's birthing and their partner, is able to go in this hospital and say what they want and why they want it if they're questioned about it, but really stand their grounds with it. Because for Tanita and I, we can't speak for the birthing person in the hospital. Right. And also, we're not trying to make it be like we're against the hospital and them, because they do a good job when there are times where it's needed, and there are times where so we don't want to make a riff in it. What we want to do is kind of mesh it together, whatever you want to call it. Sorry, I got baby brain, so just let you know I might not be able to use the words. I can describe it though.
It's all good.
But yeah, really just bringing the two together. So they may be talking medical, or like Tanita said earlier, over their head. We're there to say, okay, let's wait a minute. Do you want to talk? Okay, so that they leave the room and we can talk to the birthing person and their partner and really discuss, here's your options, here's the benefits, here are the adverse reactions, here are the risk factors. What would you guys like to do? Because we're not deciding for them. We're just giving them information so they're informed to make decisions on their own. Because a lot of the times you're signing papers at the hospital, and then at the end you're like, oh, I didn't know I was signing that. I didn't know that was that. You know what I mean? So it's just like making sure they know everything about it's their body, it's their birth, it's their baby. You want to know what the heck is going on and being able to make decisions for you and your family.
Right. Tanita, do you want to add to that?
No, she hit it on the rep. She hit it on the nail.
Good stuff. Now, talk about, I guess, again, trying to prepare for the show. They talked about their 7 key roles for a doula. I guess recognize birth as a key life experience, help folks understand the physiology of birth and the emotional needs of women in labor. I'm trying to remember. I'm not that good, so I am not.
Well, talk about a woman in labor. I mean, hey, it can go any kind of way. Okay. It can go any kind of way. You just have to, as a doula, you just have to learn how to go with the flow. You have to go with however mom is feeling. Sometimes she wants to be touched. Sometimes she doesn't want to be touched. Sometimes she wants to be talked to. Sometimes she doesn't want to be talked to. Our main goal is to make sure mom is as comfortable as possible. She gets what she needs, and that the partner knows exactly what to do also. We don't leave partner out at all. We make sure a partner knows exactly what to say, when to touch, when to caress, when to feel, when to express the love, when to, we just don't want the partner to feel left out. So one of our main jobs also is just let partners know that you are appreciated and you are welcomed and you can help out also. Because a lot of times, if you're in a corner and somebody's giving birth, your woman's giving birth or something, the man's in the corner just shocked and don't know what to do. So we want to make sure he's right there too. That he's participating.
That would have been me.
Yeah.
I got you. So, how do you make decisions on the spur? I mean, based on the emotional needs while in labor or when they're giving birth, like when my daughters were being born, the Konya was there. Mm-hmm. And, it's like she was so responsive and right on key. And I'm like, okay, how do you know what to do and say at that exact moment? How, I mean, is this something?
Well,
you
you
learn?
know,
Is
by
it
us being
natural?
I'm sorry to cut you off. By us being trained on what we do, we can listen to mom. We know different ways that she's sounding and what's going on with her body at that time when she's sounding a certain way. We can know how she's reacting. You know, things that she's doing. We know kind of what stages that she is in the labor process, and we just be on cue with it.
All right, that's it. Now, how do the hospitals typically respond? Like the nurses on duty, the doctors on duty. You have a doula in the room helping a birthing mother to navigate that process. This is her birth, and you help. It's like you're so. Sometimes when you feel the need, if you think it's necessary, to slow down the process so that that birthing mother knows what's going on. How responsive or non-responsive are the medical care facilities? How do they respond to you when you do that? Especially coming in as Black women doing this work.
Right. Right now, I know with midwives, I've only been really working with midwives. Wait, I haven't had a client who had an OB yet. Maybe one, but I've been working with midwives, and they are open to it. Midwives are more open to like that whole process of supporting and just doula works and knowing what doulas do. They're very knowledgeable on doulas. And I think probably because, it really started off as us coming to births way back when, and then it developed into this title of being a midwife. You know what I mean? So they understand what moms need in that kind of way. Their study is a little bit different than like the obstetrician or, a doctor's way of thinking. But it's been pretty good working with midwives, to be honest. They're very open to it. They're very supportive so far with it. And, it takes a little bit off of them too, because we're doing comfort measures with mom. We're getting her the ice chips. We're kind of getting those cues, and then they're coming in to really deliver baby you know what I mean? So it's like,
well, it takes a lot of the pressure off of them to have to
because
and
a lot of times take pressure off the midwives and the nurses.
Yes,
when a doula is there, and doulas. I mean, nurses don't really have to, not necessarily say that they don't have to worry about their patient, but they don't have to be. The patient don't have to be calling the nurse every 15-20 minutes for this and for that, because we're there for them. Yeah. They don't need to worry for anything. Yeah. We do it before they even know they need it.
When my 5-year-old was born, I remember her mother screaming and the nurse coming in, "Stop screaming! Just bring out that baby!" But it was different with the following 2 kids because Laconia was there both times, and as she screams, it's like you were like riding a bronco, and when she screamed, you bring her back down. When she starts squirming, I think that was almost as amazing to watch as the birth itself.
Absolutely.
I'm a type of doula. If that nurse came in there talking about stop screaming, that nurse would not have been back in that room. She would have been dismissed. She would not have been back into that. I mean, I had to do it my second birth with my son. Obviously I'm a big advocate. I'm a doula myself. I labored at home the whole time. So when I finally got to the hospital, I was 9.5 centimeters dilated already. And if the ultimate is 10 centimeters. So when I got to the hospital, I was 9.5. So I was ready to get that baby out. So now I am screaming. I am grunting. I am doing all kind of warrior noises because my body's about to go through this ultimate transformation.
Absolutely.
And there was this one nurse. There was this one nurse who told me, "You can stop all that screaming now. You're in the hospital." First of all, I had to tell myself, let me go through this contraction first. And I kept on screaming. And then I politely said, when I was done, "You can leave. Period. You can leave. You're not going to have this negative atmosphere in my birth. You can leave." And they looked at me. Everybody looked at me. And I was serious. She can leave. Because this is my birth. This is what I'm going through. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I want to do. So therefore you leave. And she left. And that's part of the advocacy.
So I'm looking at this thing. It says the role of the doula to perceive the doula's role as one who nurtures and protects the woman's memory of her birth.
Exactly.
Which is what you're doing. So you try to make it as comfortable as possible, putting her in a comfortable space where she can actually remember the birth of her child.
Exactly.
Right. So when someone's screaming at you and it's rushed, come on, push, and you're like doing it, everything becomes a blur. It's like being in the middle of a fist fight.
Right.
Okay.
We don't want it just to be a healthy baby and you're okay. We want the whole situation, the whole process to be a memorable, comfortable thing as possible.
Okay. So basically you guys it's really about creating a real safe environmental space.
Yes.
Not just about, the woman giving birth. It's the room, the tone, everything has to be, you guys are pretty much controlling the entire environment, correct?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's funny because one of the things that as Tanita and I have been doulas under Spring Family Doula is that a lot of our moms have been second-time moms, and it's because their first birth was traumatic. They want more education and support on the second birth. It's been a lot of our moms, and majority of them have been, my first birth was traumatic in the hospital. I need a doula who's going to support me, be there, look over, and educate me so that I can have a better birth. That's what it's been.
And that makes complete sense. I mean, you have a bad experience. Next time around, it's like, yo, you get me once, all right, you got me. The second time around, it's like, if you get me again, it's like shame on me. Yeah.
Right.
You bring in your support system. Because a lot of times they don't, certain hospitals won't allow family members in because of the COVID and all that other stuff. But doulas are in fact allowed in the room, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
For the most part. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We've been working with the hospitals, local hospitals pretty good. So it's nice to be able to work with the hospitals and they know us, and so that it's more what do you call it? More common for the mom to come into this and be like, oh, they're working with them and not against them type of thing. So it's less stress on mom as well.
And it's always a positive thing when a mom is going to the hospital and they're saying, oh, you have a doula, and who are you working with? Springfield Family Doulas. And their thing is like, oh, okay. Now they're comfortable. Now they know that they also know, some of the midwives also know, because they are working with us, that this client or our client is going to have a much relaxed, they're going to be informed. They're going to know, what's the do next. They're not going to be all on their case, because they have somebody that's there for them.
And they're well aware of what their expectations are for themselves and for everybody else in the room.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, yeah. And it's kind of like going to a courtroom without an attorney.
Exactly. That's a good way.
Walking with your attorney, you're comfortable. They're not going to get over on me this time. I got my support system. So I think that the work that you guys do is critical. Now, they also talk about different types of techniques. If I'm not mistaken, doulas use imagery, massage, acupressure, pattern breathing to reduce women's pain. Can you talk about the different techniques that you use to keep the body de-escalated and, just some semblance of control so they can breathe and think and get comfortable? What are some of the strategies you guys use?
Well, really, it is about breath work. It's about really just sitting and breathing and taking that moment to breathe, because you know what? The world is crazy. Everything's moving fast. We got so much to do all the time. And then we're never there to sit and calm our body down. Our minds are always racing. So we always end with just like a guided meditation / affirmation for a mom to do. It's really like placing your hand over your heart, placing your other hand over your baby, and just really connecting and closing your eyes and just breathing for that second. That stops everything else that's going on, and it kind of balances mom. So we like to end with that as well. All our prenatal appointments, postpartum appointments, just really getting that mind to stop for a minute and really focus on what's really important right now,
So do you use massage techniques or acupressure or anything like that?
We refer
acupressure.
Yes, we refer. There is a woman in Springfield. I think she moved to Northampton, but she offers acupuncture for pregnancy. So we refer people to people that we know in the community do good work. There's also a chiropractor here in the Springfield community that works with pregnant women. I've used it and it's amazing. Massage, yes, prenatal massage, absolutely. We refer moms to that because it's helpful. Sometimes you got aches and pains and kind of achiness all over. So it's good to kind of use those.
I think also they do that as well. So it's like maybe not as in the technical clinical sense, meaning like you're not a massage therapist, but you're doing comfort measures, which are counter pressure.
Yeah. Which is what I like you said acupuncture. I was actually trying to say acupressure.
Okay.
You know it's D, so you got it. It's gonna take them a little while.
But yes, we do.
I'll use baby language for you next time, Justin.
So during one of our prenatal meetings, we always do. We always teach mom, and we teach the partner, the father, the husband. We teach them comfort measures on mom because we're not always going to be at home. So whether it be right on the tailbone, if mom is having pain there, let's say mom is having sciatic pain down one of her legs, the left side or the right side, we're showing them different stretches to use. Or let's say baby is upside down and is not where he or she needs to be. We're showing them how to flip baby by just putting your knees on the couch and your elbows and your arm is on the floor. So you're trying to have baby kind of turn, and just using those kind of comfort measures. I'm trying to think of what else. It's whatever mom is. Basically, it's whatever mom is feeling. You guys hear Judah back here?
Yeah, I'm listening to Judah compete with you.
He is.
He's so tired.
He is tired. I'm tired too. But yes, really just using that. If mom is having, a lot of the times we have we hold tension in our shoulders and in our jaws. So when I'm doing like a meditation, it's like really relax your jaw, breathe in and out. Right. Drop your shoulders, because we're always like this and moving around all the time, but it's just like drop your shoulders and take a deep breath in. That kind of thing, really getting mom to mentally relax as well as physically.
Okay.
Yeah. So partner is learning this as well too. So when we're not there, he's able to kind of do that as well.
All right. And let me move back a little bit. How does one go about finding a doula? If my partner was pregnant and she's near her third, right? When should someone access the doula? Is it like the first month, second month, 7th month? And what
we would say to get in contact with us as early as possible. Even if you're being like 4 weeks, 4 weeks prenatal, we can actually do a free consultation, and then we'll talk about what do you expect from us, what do we expect from you as a client, and the earlier that you have us is the more relationship we can build, so that you can be as comfortable with us as possible when it comes to the most vulnerable time in your life.
Okay, what are some of the expectations you will have of a client?
So
that's like the best and worst person to ask right there.
I'm gonna let Laconia take that one.
What's the question?
What as a doula, what are your expectations of your clients? Like, what are the expectations you have?
Just to be honest with us, kind of build that relationship with us, the trusting relationship, because we're there for them, solely them. And that's it. Pretty being honest and that the trust. Tanita, you want to add something?
I think she does. I'm just curious, because I mean, if I refer somebody, I want to be able to say, listen, man, they're gonna have some tight expectations of you, and really, all you have to do is just be honest with them and begin to trust them. I know there's more than that, so talk to me. Give me some more.
I mean, we want to make sure that we're in a safe environment. We want to make sure that the person is, a safe person, them as well as their partner, because we're walking into a situation where there's not only them, it's their partner that we have to encounter and deal with too. We want to make sure that we can have some people. I'm going to just go ahead and say it. We have some people who are sometimes can be very stubborn, and we can really initiate that in the beginning. I mean, obviously it's your body and it's what you want, but if you have a doula, then obviously you can put some kind of trust in us, period. So if you don't have trust in us in doing what we're expertise in doing, or listen to what we're expertise in doing, and we're seeing that there's a pushback already in the beginning, then sometimes we're going to be like, hey, this is not a partnership that we can probably continue. And sometimes it just goes like that, where you just have to sometimes realize that people are not there to just listen. They just want to do what they want to do, or they feel like that they need to do what they need to do. So, and at that point in time, you could just, we can go our separate ways.
So if they're uncooperative with the work plan, they don't have a tendency to follow through, then that decline.
Correct.
Okay.
Wait, what'd you say?
What?
They're if you have basically an uncooperative client isn't exactly the type of client that you're looking for. If you guys tell them how to navigate that process,
not necessarily how to navigate their process, but we're giving them like
because everything is individualized.
Correct.
Like one mom is not going to have the same plan as the second mom or third mom, or like that. So everything is definitely individualized. Okay. It is about I see what you're saying, Tanita. It is if we're the right doula for you, and if we're not, there's doulas we can refer you to as well, because not everybody meshes well with everybody. We want to make sure they have like we said, a memorable birth plan, and it's not something that's kind of like
forced.
Friction. Yeah. We don't want any friction or anything like that.
Force, yeah.
So we always, if it's not good and we can have that talk with them, then we refer them to another doula as well. So there's options.
Okay.
We do pay. Oh, okay. This is another thing, with our community, we understand that there sometimes can be a need for, help and assistance, because we have to get paid, obviously, So when it comes to our services, we want to I just want to put it out there. It just came to my mind. We want to make sure that people in our community knows we do payment plans. We do bartering if there's a situation where we can barter for. And we also have scholarships that we do maybe twice a year to help pay for the unfortunate situation that people can't afford a doula. So we want to make sure that anybody who wants a doula can get a doula.
And we're starting sliding scales for moms as well.
Okay. I was going to ask about the cost, but you guys have addressed that.
Mm-hmm.
and just so people know, can I safely add?
Insurance also to include that. Insurance does not cover doulas right now, but hopefully in the next maybe year or so that the laws will change, and it will be covered by insurance. There are some insurance, like the military insurance, do cover doulas, but there is stipulations that you do have to follow. And I actually think they reimburse you. You pay first and then they reimburse you. And I think Tufts.
Yes. Tufts insurance does do cover doulas.
And I think that's going to change legislatively, because the higher risk patients, if they don't have a doula, the outcome is usually, and not usually, but there's more instances of mortality rates.
Mortality, yes.
A lot higher with that. And so I see it coming in the fold very soon. I think it's not just a thing. Now science is backing it up. Even again, we've been birthing people for the last 8, including we've been birthing our children and their children for the last some odd years, right? And so, but now it's coming back into the fold using scientific peer-reviewed research that is going in.
Not the quotes.
Yeah, you need them, because you got to understand that science. Allopathic medicine is only 200 years old, y'all. I just want people to know that. Remember that. Only 200 years old. So it's very new. When you talk about our sciences, people like doulas, midwives, that's thousands and thousands and thousands. If you think about the population of Earth, all right, that's how long doulas and midwives been around. All right. OBGYN, 2 years, right? So
2 years.
But with that knowledge that you guys have, I don't know if you know how important you are to the trajectory of the Black population. You are the reason why we have a Black population. If you really think about it, it's preventative measures for when you are alive and you're birthed and you're a child and you're grown up. But before you even get there, mothers and then babies. Those are the two most important things when it comes to the population of any nation. If you look at, if the higher the lower the mortality rates, the better the health outcomes across the board are in industrialized nations and also in what they would call third world countries.
Yeah, to add to that, Tadina and I actually are supposed to be a part of a study, and it's going to be the effects of Black women having doulas in the hospital. How does that affect? The birth outcomes? So that's going to be a 2-year, and I'm looking forward to it actually.
Yeah, me too.
That should be interesting because when you look at the mortality rate, 37.1 death per 100,000 live births. It's horrible. In contrast to white women at 14.7 and Latinos at 11.8. 37.1 is extremely high. We look at Black babies, it's 42.8 per 100,000. And I mean, and that's it's a travesty. So it's something that we should be looking at. So when we talk about birthing supports, I'm just curious: are there National Association of Black Doulas or National Association of Doulas that are actually pushing for legislative change?
Yes, I know there is, but also in Boston, they're really pushing it. I'm not sure. Sorry, hold on 1 second. I'm not sure of the name of the group, but they are pushing it for sure.
Okay. Wow. All right. And going back to cost for a minute, just want our viewers or listeners, because we'll be playing this on the radio at midnight, to understand that the cost is going to vary depending on where you live. So if you live in New York, Charlotte, Atlanta, and then you come to Springfield, the prices are going to be different. So if you had a doula in Los Angeles and you come here, you can't expect the price to be the same. Is that
Right.
Correct. Yep.
Right.
Throw that out there because sometimes people are like, well, I had a doula before. I was down in New Haven and it was a whole lot cheaper. Well, it says in New Haven. So the prices, it may be less, it may be more. So people need to live with that. But folks also need to understand that this is not a free service. And this is what these people do professionally. It's a strong support for our community. The support mechanism does not equate to free. And I just want to put that out there because there will be people who will contact you to see if you can provide these services free. And like I said, you have scholarships, and that's even better. At the end of the day, nothing is ever free because you spend an extensive amount of time with these birthing mothers, which means you're also spending time away from home and your own children.
Correct. Very true.
So again, nothing is ever free. If they provide you with a scholarship, it's not free. It means that they're compromising and they're sacrificing something for someone else's benefit. It feels really good. It's a great thing, but it doesn't keep the lights on. Does that make sense?
Perfectly.
Absolutely. We also do, Tanita and I do trainings every year because we want to make sure we're doing everything, evidence-based. There's new stuff that comes out. So we're always doing a training just to keep up with everything that's happening and new stuff that's going on or being brought up. And then we're also trained, like Tanita's a placenta encapsulator.
Specialist.
Yeah, there we go, specialist. And she also is a lactation counselor. So that comes with a lot of training and a lot of work. I'm also a Reiki practitioner. I do, I work with herbs as well. And then I am
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What is Reiki?
So Reiki is using universal energy to kind of help the body get through any blockage, basically, kind of thing. So it's almost like getting a massage without the actual touching kind of thing.
Okay.
Basically, and it's all about mind, body, spirit, and bringing that back to balance, chopping up some of that energy. Because a lot of the times, if we're in pain, it's from something. Sometimes it's mentally, sometimes it's spiritually, and it's all about really calming the body, kind of using different kind of kind of using different kind of music, different hertz to really calm the body down, break up those blockages that have been caused from maybe trauma or maybe physical, but it's really just balancing the body out, mind, body, and spirit.
Okay, absolutely. All right, we are at the 54-minute mark. We have like 5.5 minutes left. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you were expecting to talk about this evening?
Yes. So we do have a website. It's www.springfieldfamilydoulas.com. On there, you can request a free consultation. You can pick the date that's best for you, and it will automatically come to our email. Zoom will automatically come to us as well as you, and we can discuss right then and there, if we are a right fit for each other, what we offer, who we are. We'll also have an Instagram, Springfield Family Doulas, as well as a Facebook, Springfield Family Doulas Services.
Okay. So that's the contact information. Yeah. Contact them at www.springfieldfamilydoulas.com. All the necessary information is there. The contact information is there. You can schedule your meetings, consultations, everything right there on the site. Correct?
Correct.
That's what to make sure I got you right.
I kind of wanted to say something too. I always love ending with birth is natural. We eat and we know it's normal. We walk and breathe and know it's normal. We go exercise and it's normal. But when we think of birth, we don't think of it as normal. And it's normal and it's natural, and our body is made for it, So it's just like when women go into birth and they're birthing, they're going through the process of, first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, they're nervous and anxious when it should be a happy and beautiful time of your life. So it's all about also educating moms and informing moms like, this is natural. You got this. Your body is made for this. You see, first trimester, now your body's this way because it changes every trimester because it knows what it's doing. So you got to, we're all in our heads about all the stress and things like that that's going on outside, but it's natural. Your body is made for it, and enjoy it, because you're not going to be pregnant all your life. So really, truly enjoy that time. And baby can feel that too as well.
Okay. So what's up? Good information. Janita, anything else?
No, nothing else.
All right, yeah. Well, this is Black Health, and I want to thank Springfield Family Doulas, Laconia Fennell, Janita Council. Did I say last name right?
Who? Council or Fennell?
Council.
Council. Like in student council, yeah.
Okay, I knew I had it
My
right.
first name, Tanita, though. Tanita.
I'm from Waterbury. I'll never be able to say
Tanita.
Tanita. It's hard to put the accent on there, man. All right. Ta. That takes too much effort.
No, it doesn't.
Laconia Fennell and Tanita Council. I'm still saying Tanita. I'm just saying it differently from you. It's the same thing. Tomato.
It's not. It's no.
Well, if that's the case, and we debating on the air. My mother called me Daryl. My grandmother called me Daryl. My great grandmother called me Daryl. My aunties called me Daryl. So my name is not Daryl. It's Daryl.
So whichever way you would like to be pronounced is what I will call you.
You can call me D.
Oh, well, then I will call you D. I would like to be called Tanita.
I would like to thank you both for coming on. All that incredible information with us. Actually, the closing is actually Justin's job, so I'm gonna give it back.
Can't leave you alone. Thank you again, Springfield Family Doulas, and all the work you do. If you guys can give them your contact, if they already did, you gave them the contact information. Please, if you are thinking about having a baby, you already have a child, you're with child right now, or you're in your first, second, third, fourth trimester, or even postpartum, and you just had your baby, you need help even with that. Doulas help, full spectrum is the word they use. And so contact them. They do change birth outcomes. All right. So thank you again. And thank you everyone for tuning in. This will be on all week. Please watch, share, and make sure you comment. And we'll see you next week on another episode of Black Health. Thank you, D.Moss, the man, the myth, the legend, the arguing king. All right. And we'll be back here next week. All right. With another show.
You're muted.
And more information for you guys.
Peace, y'all. Thank you for watching.
Bye.